16 years ago, I walked into a McDonald's in London wearing a uniform, asking customers if they were enjoying their meal. A few years ago, I walked into a McDonald's in Dagenham and I owned it. Same brand, same golden arches, £1.4 million later. This is the story of how a boy from Ghana ended up owning McDonald's restaurants in the UK. The scholarship, the corporate detours, the 11-month interview, a process that nearly broke me, and the one phone call that changed everything. And stick around, because there's a Slumdog Millionaire twist to this story that I promise you'd want to hear. Let's go back to the beginning. So I was born in Ghana. I went to Prempeh College, studied business administration at KNUST, one of the best universities in West Africa. And yes, I will fight anyone who disagrees. Now here's the thing about growing up in Ghana that I want you to understand. Nobody hands you a roadmap. There is no career advisor saying, have you considered owning a fast food restaurant in Essex? Two things. Education is the way, and opportunities don't come to you. You go to them. So when I finished my degree, I applied for a scholarship to study in the UK. And against all odds, I got it. I landed in the UK at 22 years old. New country, big dreams, and approximately £0 of disposable income. So, what does a 22-year-old international student with a business degree and empty pockets do? He gets a job in McDonald's, obviously. I became a customer care assistant, and for anyone who doesn't know what this is, I was the person walking in the dining area, cleaning tables, helping parents with high chairs, asking if you wanted a balloon for the little one, and I did that for 2 years. Now, I could dress this part of the story up. I could tell you I was studying the business model from the inside. I wasn't. I was paying my bills. I was a student who needed a job, and McDonald's gave me one. But here's what actually happened in those 2 years without me realizing it. I learned how a McDonald's breathes. The lunch rush, the way a good shift manager holds a team together, why a clean dining area is worth more than any advert. The whole machine runs on systems and people. In that order. No, wait. People and systems. In that order. I clocked out of my last shift and thought I was done with McDonald's forever. McDonald's was not done with me. After graduating, I went corporate. I mean, properly corporate. Management consultant at Accenture, where I learned how big organizations actually make decisions and how to walk into a room of people older and more senior than you and hold your own. Then project management, eventually one of the biggest banks in the country, where I learned how money moves, how risk is managed, and how to deliver things on time when 100 moving parts are all trying to delay. And I want to pause here, because I know a lot of you watching are exactly where I was. You're in a corporate job, it pays fine, your parents are proud, LinkedIn says you're doing a great job, and there's a little voice asking, is this it? I'm not going to tell you to quit your job. In fact, do not quit your job because a guy on YouTube got excited and told you to. What I'll tell you is this. I stopped seeing my job as my destination and started seeing it as my training ground. Every skill, every meeting, every difficult stakeholder, I was collecting tools. I just didn't know what I was building yet. Then I tried entrepreneurship for the first time. I started a healthcare business, and that taught me lessons no consulting firm ever could. Mostly by letting me make every mistake personally. So by 2021, I knew I wanted to build something of my own at scale. And I made a decision that confused a lot of people. I applied to become a McDonald's franchisee. Now, some people will tell you franchising isn't real entrepreneurship, that you're just renting someone else's idea. Well, let me tell you why those people are wrong. When you buy a franchise, you're not buying a burger recipe. You're buying 70 years of trial and error. Systems tested in over 100 countries, a brand your customers already trust before you've served them a single fry. What you bring is everything the system cannot provide. It's leadership, local knowledge, the ability to build a team of hundreds of people and make them believe in something. I'd seen the inside of that machine as a 22-year-old wiping tables. I'd seen the inside of big business at Accenture and RBS. I'd felt the chaos of starting from scratch in healthcare. Franchising sat right in the middle. Proven system, real ownership, real risk. Because trust me, the risk is very real and very much yours. Now, the application process. People think when you buy a McDonald's franchise, you're buying something like a car. You turn up with your money, you drive away with the restaurant. That is not how it works. No, McDonald's doesn't choose your money. McDonald's chooses you. And they took 11 months to decide. Listen to what that involved. Panel interviews, plural. A week working inside a McDonald's restaurant, back in uniform, on the floor, with a consultant shadowing my every move, how I spoke to crew, how I handled the rush, whether I'd roll up my sleeves or stand around pointing, a series of psychometric tests, a 2-hour conversation with an organisational psychologist, 2 hours. This person's entire job was to look into my soul and decide whether I'd crack under the weight of running restaurants. And then a full forensic evaluation of my finances, every account, every record. They went through my financial life like detectives, because they're not just handing you a restaurant, they're handing you their brand's reputation in your community. 11 months of this, and every single stage could have ended it. And here is where I have to tell you about Slumdog Millionaire. If you've seen the film, you know the premise. Jamal is winning the biggest quiz show in India, and everyone assumes he's cheating. How does a boy from the slums know all these answers? But the film reveals the truth. Every question he's asked, his life had already taught him the answer. Every hardship, every detour, every chapter that seemed random was all preparation. Sitting in those panel interviews, that was me. They asked how I'd lead crew members on a tough Saturday shift. I'd been that crew member, 2 years in their uniform. They tested how I'd manage complex operations. Accenture had drilled that into me. Financial controls, risk, delivering under pressure, that was RBS. Whether I understood the loneliness and weight of ownership, my healthcare business had taught me that the hard way. Every single stage of that 11-month process, my life had already handed me the answer. Not because I planned it, I promise you I did not, but because I never wasted a chapter. If you're watching this from a chapter in your life that feels like a detour, it might just be a question you haven't been asked yet. And then one day the phone rang, you've been approved. My first restaurant, Dagenham, East London, previously run by McDonald's Corporation itself, and now it was mine. The price, £1.4 million. So, the boy who arrived from Ghana at 22 with a suitcase and a scholarship bought the restaurant chain he used to clean tables for. Today, that one restaurant has become 3. 2 in Dagenham, 1 in Redwood, and a team of nearly 300 people. And here's what I'll tell you. Before I let you go, this is not the end of the story. I've got plans that go far beyond Essex, but that's a video for another day. So subscribe because you'd want to see where this goes. For now, drop this in the comments. What chapter of your life felt like a detour that was actually preparing you? I read every single comment and I want to hear yours. I am Joey. Thank you for watching my very first YouTube video. The next one, I'm taking you inside one of my restaurants for a full day. You do not want to miss. See you there.